Hello, is this working, Maria? Hola. I don't know if it's working. Maria? Is good? Hola, everyone. Thank you for joining. Gracias, Maria. Please tell me, Maria, when do I start painting? Wait for more people? I'm sorry, this is so strange. Hola, bonjour. Gracias, Maria, for the opportunity. I thought I would start by showing you a few examples of my architecture painting. Let me see if I can flip the camera. Okay, I'm going to show you some examples. These paintings show my technique very well. I use very few colors. Usually not more than 5 or 6 colors. This one is very much like what I'm going to do today, with carved stone. And this one too, with black wrought iron metal and the carvings of the building. Even sometimes I use red. I have a design book on how to design an Art Deco style, doing a repeating pattern, sort of like this. And it's a workbook. So you do the exercises and your hand learns how to design the way I do. And there are many, many patterns in here that you can use in your own work as well. It's a design book and it's on my website, marygosdenstudio.com. And I have a few other painted things here too. But I'd like to get started soon. I have a lot to do on this piece. It's very detailed, and if I paint till almost 1 hour, I might have it almost done. So I'm going to turn the camera around and so you can see what I'm doing. Thank you for coming. Sorry for that. Okay. Hola, Kateri. Bonjour, Annie. Thank you for coming, everyone. Okay, so this is a photograph that I took myself in Paris. It's at the Petit Palais, and it's not even the main door. It's a smaller door, but I love wrought iron. I love metal. If you know my work, you know that I paint it very, very often. And all of this stonework is so gorgeous. And the little angels, the putti, and I use very few colors. In fact, for first firing today, I'm not using brown and I will not use blue. So I'm only using a yellow-brown like ochre, a blue-violet, which is a purple that's more blue than pink, and black. And that's it. And a few of these details are done with a pen, with a feather. So I'm going to paint on this plaque, and I'm going to start with the door because it's in the center. La Porte is in the center. And the reason for that is if I'm painting all black, I don't want to lose my design, my calc. I used graphite, or you say calc maybe. I'm protecting it with the plastic wrap. When it's finished, it will look like this. This is 2 firings. So you can see the yellow, this yellow-brown color is throughout on the stone. That blue is in the glass. And I use blue, violet, and black to make all the shadows, all those grays on the yellow. So I'm going to start in the center with some black. This is my favorite brush in the world. It's called Big Mama, Grandmama for you. I can do fine lines with it. I can do big, broad strokes, and it's always square. These corners never go round like if I use a quill brush, a brush that's tied. The hair is so soft that I wear them down in 1 week. So I like these brushes. They're very thin, very flat. And for making architecture, perfect. I use open medium, olio mole, I think is how you say it. Always open medium for me. I never want it to dry. So I'm going to load very flat with the brush. And I'm going to start putting in these bold black lines. I know it will look very messy, but I'm going to fix that in just a moment. It's a little too oily. Cotton swabs, my favorite tool. My hand shakes, I'm a little nervous. I'll stop shaking in a minute. I'm going to start putting in some of the finer lines as well. I can use the hand on the plaque to make a straight line. That was not very good. I'm still warming up. And I hold the brush very, very light, very loose, not tight and strong. I hold very light, very loose. Barely touching the piece. I'm just going to keep tapping in lines where I see them. That's behaving a little better now. I can lightly go with the corner of the brush to smooth if I need to. You're probably thinking it looks very messy. And that's okay. I'm not painting a flower or a face, so I can be messy. And buildings are outdoors in nature and pollution and abuse, and I don't paint them perfectly neat because it would look fake. I leave things a little bit messy on purpose, which is great because I like to paint fast and I don't go back in and fix things very often. If someone translates into Spanish or Portuguese, I appreciate it. I'm sorry, no habla. Désolé, en français, c'est terrible. Same here on this side. I'll just do a few more and I'll use the feather. Show you how I mix ink and use the feather. I sell this feather. I have them for sale. They're very, very old. They're antique. And they're very strong steel, so they don't split when you use the stilo or the feather. Okay, I'm going to put 3 more over here. That was terrible. I like to think my work is a little bit impressionistic because I am painting from photographs, but I don't have a lot of patience. I like to put the paint down quickly and leave it alone. Get in, get out. I don't like to paint a lot of detail, so you'll see today when I put in detail, it's more about saving the light, the lumiere, the soleil. I keep the light, and the way I do that mostly is with these. I paint big and bold with Big Mama, big paint, big color, and then I wipe out the light. I'm going to just tap in a few lines that go across horizontally. And I'm going to leave them ragged. I'm not going to go in and make them perfect. It's a painting, not a photograph. When I do portraits, I'm much more careful. And precise. If I use a liner brush, it would take me all day to put in this amount of lines. That's what I love about this brush. It's right here. Rapido. Almost done with these lines. And then I'll use the feather. Okay, that one comes out. It's difficult for me to see the calc. And I don't want to turn on my overhead light because you won't see in the video. It will be too much light on the photo or on the shiny plaque. So I'm just going to try to see it any way that I can. Okay, so These circle areas are also metal, so I will make them black, and then I'm going to wipe out that little detail. You see the flower, the floor inside the circle? I will use the cotton swabs to wipe that out. So I'm, again, using this Big Mama brush. I'm going to just fill that circle in with black. And just a little bit of indication of light where that metal is sticking out. It's embossed. And maybe just one ring around it. And that's all. That's all I do for that. The wrought iron, the metal, is up here too. So I'm going to load just a little corner of the brush and put in a few of those little details like this. They're just little leaf shapes. I don't need to get out another brush. And see, there's a connector between this plaque and this one. So by using a big flat brush, I can do almost everything I need to very quickly, which I like. So I'm going to put another flower in here. And there are quite a few leaves, as you see, in between. So I'm thinking of leaf shapes, but I'm not putting in every stem and twig and curve, etc. I'll just keep going, and I'll do this side. A little too much black on that one, so I'm going to take it off there and put it down here. One brush, open, medium, and 3 colors. You can do very many things with that amount of materials. So when I said I don't have to be neat and perfect and clean, I can just go fast, paint with impulse, not careful, no stress. For me, painting is relaxing, meditative. So I don't want the pressure of having to be perfect and put the stem in the right place and the leaf and the petals, and no, I just think about cool color and warm color. These are the warm colors: yellow, red, brown, warm, like the sun, au soleil. And the cool colors: blue, blue-violet, black, cool and warm. So the metal is very cool. The blue is cool. This is more warm. You see the difference? The sun is on the stone, it's warm. The sun, the soleil, is warm. The color in here is very, very soft back there. The light inside the building is a bluish color. So that's why I put it here, so you could see that color will go here. I will wash all this with blue after firing the black. first do all the iron. I want all this detail that I did with my calc, with my drawing, I want that to be black to fire today. After, I can put the big wash of color over, and it won't change the black because it's lighter than the black. So the blue comes after. Okay, so I'm going to show you a little with the feather. I take the same black that's on my palette, and I take the same oil that it's mixed with, open medium, open oil, olio mole, and I just mix a little more of the olio mole. If it drops, 3 drops, I watch to see if the oil comes out like a halo around the ink, then it's too wet. I add more paint. If I cannot get 3 drops, it's only 1 or 2, it's too dry. I add oleo. So I load up, and I'm going to do some of these designs here. I'm at the wrong angle. It goes a long way with this feather. You can keep going and going and going and going. Oops, when that happens, that's it. I just keep going. Same here. I love pen work. I can do pen work. I can work with a feather all day long. It's my favorite thing. I never use a closed medium for the feather or the paint. I like to be able to change it while it's wet. Okay, so there's a little bit of a detail, a little diamond shape on some of these. I think I'll just use a corner of the brush, and I'll just tap like that. That was too big. Down here, 1, 2, 3. It's just an impression. It's impressionistic because I'm giving an impression of the design without all the detail. There's another line here. Okay, that's all I'm going to do on there for right now. The next pattern, see, it's all repetitive patterns. This pattern goes around the border and across here. I'm going to do this part of it, and then I'm going to do this section with the faces. It looks like a lion. And then I'll finish this. I want to get to this part too because it's a very different technique. So I'm going to first put in the long lines, and they're a gray. So I'm being very light with my black. I don't want it black, I want it gray. It's a very light touch. There's a line in the middle. And there's a lot of circles in here, little circles. I'm just going to make a little area of dark where that circle is going to be. And your eye will tell you that it's a circle, but I don't have to go in and be very careful about it. I'm just going to let it be. I'm going to put a darker black line under that because it looks like it sticks out from the dark shadow, and under this one as well. More dimension. In between each circle, there's a little bit of black. That's not going to work very well. I'm going to go to a smaller brush and turn my piece, and I'm going to go just in between the circles. It's going to look like a mess for a few minutes. See that? That's why I don't have to be very careful when I put the paint in, because I can wipe the light out. I think you're missing that one detail here. If I put the paint in between the two circles, I may not have to even wipe that out. So that pattern is going to go all the way around the door, but I don't have time to do all that today. So I'm going to go ahead up to this part. I'm going to turn it sideways so you can really see it. We're working on this now. I'm going to put these patterns that I already did down here, I'm going to put those in quickly first. I hardly ever use a brush that's small. I prefer the big brush. I can do everything that I can do with a small brush, I can do with this big flat brush, like a fine line or a curve. Plus, I can do big areas very quickly. You cannot do that with a small brush. You have to paint very small things. Big brush, especially one with corners, the sharp corners. That's why I can do a lot with it. I'm going to put that line between the circles. This one just has a little mark like that. See, when you know the pattern, you can just put it in quickly and move on to the next part. There's another border here and here. And this is going to end right there, this door. And it's going to end over there. And I'm marking that because when we do the yellow here, I want to know where the door ends and where the stone begins. So again, I'm doing those little circles with just a little area of paint in the center. and then around it, in between. When you paint loose and free and no stress, it's going to be an impression of the subject. It's not going to be perfect. It's not going to be a photograph. But when you have it on your wall or it's a vase that you put flowers in, I like it to look like a painting, not a photo. Okay. These lions' heads are mostly black. I can see a little bit of a yellow brown on the highlight where the face sticks out, like above his eyes and on his nose. I'm going to just put in the shape of the whole lion with black. And it has all of these scrolls and leaf shapes coming around it. And I'm going to wipe out just where the light is. There's kind of a, that's too big. Use a tiny one. Just to highlight the shapes. There's his forehead. Here's his nose. There's a mouth way down here. And I'll pick out some of the light between these tendrils and vines and leaves that come out. He has kind of a wreath of scrolls above his head. His mouth comes clear down to there. Now if I put black in where his eyes go, you almost can see a dimension of a face, right? I hope so. It happens in the second fire if I don't have it all in today, but I have to make sure I get some highlight where I need it. Okay, that's what I would do 1, 2, 3, all the way across there. To see what time we're getting to be. I guess 20 minutes. Okay, I'm going to stop doing the door, and I want to show you how I would do the rest of the building. I'm going to load up with some of this. It's a yellow brown. I guess it's a yellow with a little bit of brown in it. And I'm going to start near the door. You see the yellowy color in here? I'm just going to lightly, I'm going to pull some of that black up too, because black and yellow make a gray that's beautiful on buildings. Look at that color. It's spectacular. I love to get grays by using the warm colors and the cool colors. So if I took just a little bit more black and did that, boom, there's that shadow. See, it's almost done. I need a little highlight where there's the light. I can either pull down a little highlight with my brush. If it's not enough, I can push with the brush. You get a little bit of sharper highlight that way. Yeah, that's all it needed. Okay, so to continue, I go back into the yellow. I'm going to pull just a little bit of color in here, but I don't need very much. I'm going to squeeze it out and just use that over in here. Everybody wants to know how to paint this part. I know this. I've heard it before. I'm going to start by putting the yellow where it's strongest. I'm going to put it in behind. These guys stick out. It's a sculpture. It's a bas-relief. So I'm going to put the yellow in where I see it the strongest. And then I'm going to, the cherub, the putti, they're going to grow by putting their shadows in. So I'm just looking at this for where's the yellow. It's all around here. So I'm going to just put it right in. Quick, quick, quick. And it doesn't have to be exact. I think we've been taught to be so perfect with porcelain painting. I think it stops people from loosening up. I like to see, you know, in other art forms, you see more loose brush strokes and a fingerprint now and then, and you can soften with your finger instead of pouncing with silk, and it's more human if you use the tools you have right here, your hands, your fingers. I'm just putting a little bit of color on there because it's going to get very gray in a minute. Okay, so that's enough of that color. I'm going to switch to the brush that had black in it. A lot of black in it, huh? I'm going to just get a little bit of it out and show you how the grays form with this yellow color. I'm going to start with the edge of the door right here. I'm just going to tap a little black in there. You see the beautiful gray? I'm going to put that gray wherever I see it. I'm going to put it all around that little cherub. It's so strange to do a video live because I have no idea who's here, who's watching, if you can see what I'm doing, all that kind of stuff. So I'm hoping you can. I'm just putting that gray in around all the shapes that stand out from the back. Up here. Right now, it's all about light and shadow. That's what I'm thinking about. Where's the deepest shadow? There's one right by his tummy, his belly, and around his head. Here. I'm going to squeeze that black out of the brush, and I'm going to turn upside down. Now let's just look at this part. He's very white. The cherub is very white. So I'm going to use just a tiny bit of black on the corner of the brush, and I'm going to just add some gray on his back along here to make the shadows. Trying to keep some white things. There's some gray on his leg. There's some dark under his foot. So cute. On his head, on his shoulder. You see, he's taking form. He's starting to form. There's some more shadows in here and all this fruit and flower stuff. Not my favorite thing to paint, so I won't be very detailed in there at all. Okay. This has a shadow there. And if I see something where I've put paint and I don't need it, I'm going to wipe it back out. That's this ribbon right here. I'm just going to shade where I need it. Okay. Here's where the magic starts, hopefully. I'm going to wipe out his little hand, his arm, very chubby. And I'm going to follow the light. Follow the light down here on his little belly. His leg comes down here and folds back. There's this little back. Some of his hair. Now I'm going to get a sharper. This is very sharp. I'm going to cut some of these. This is the fabric, his sash or his shawl comes off more sharp. So I'm pressing harder. I'm pulling a little bit sharper stroke. You see how this is so soft with the Q-tip, these earbuds, very soft and subtle, but these are more defined. That's this stuff here. There's lots of little flowers and fruits, lots of fruits. Okay, I'm going to go back to a softer one, and I'm going to show you where some of this, that's a strong line there, and this is a strong one here. This part in the square is kind of soft. You can also roll these. See how it's moving like in my finger? I can put it on here and just soften the color. Just remove a little color without taking a lot of detail away. Okay, up here you have a pattern. I've got to put a little more color in there because right now it's just yellow. So to get that pattern, I'm going to put the color in and I'm going to just wipe out the pattern. Looks like a little egg shape. That's a lot easier than painting each little detail around them. I'm going to do the same. It's up here too, like this. So I'm going to push those out. Now if I turn it around, you can almost see enough detail for firing. I have to fix his face a little bit, his chin and his cheek. The hair comes around, and then his little face is right here. And his little chin. I'm going to put, it's hard to keep this flat and do any kind of detail here, but I'm going to try to put a little shadow on his shoulder, right there, and his little face is over there. And that's enough detail for him for first fire. I'm going to do this shield in the middle, and I hope to have enough time to do the putti on this side too. I'm going to load a corner of the brush with the black, and I'm going to just tip in a little bit of shadow where I just need it. There's quite a bit of white here. The light hits it very strongly. So I want to just put the gray where I see it, where it's curved back in toward the building. So that'll work at the top. You see, I like finger painting too. There's a little bit of a darkness in there, and one in here. There's dark in here. I've painted this particular photograph twice now, and on this vase that I showed you, and on a piece that I sold to a student a long time ago. And after I've painted something a couple of times, I like to just put away the photo and just paint what I remember. You know, I still use the calc and make the drawing, but after that I like to just paint what I feel when I'm painting it, instead of exactly the details I see on the page. I hope you can understand. I think it's important. The more instinctive we go with our paintbrush, and the more instinctive we lay down the paint, I think it's more interesting art than just being careful and stressed when we paint. Okay, I'm just getting these last little ribbons. They look like ribbons. And it's okay that I don't get every detail in on first fire. What I do need to have is the light. I have to have enough light that if I fire it today, that I look at it tomorrow, I want to see the shapes where they're supposed to be. I have to save the light, because we can't get the light back, can we? Okay, I'm just going to soften that black just a little there too. That's all. Okay, it's taking shape. I do want a little more light right in there. That little shadow, it just looks too solid. That helps. And I'm putting a little, just a little detail line there so it's not so harsh. That's better. Okay. The shield is okay. It's not a big deal to make it perfect. I'm going to do this last cherub, and I think that's about what we'll have time for. So again, like before, I'm putting the black in wherever I see the darkest shadow all around that. And here, and here. Oops, lost his little arm there. Remember, I'm painting over the calc. So if I were going in and fluffing and smoothing and pouncing, I would lose my calc. It would be gone. And I don't want to redraw all these details. So I'm just being very light. I never hold the brush tight. I either hold way up here or I hold here. You can see on this one where I hold it. It's down to the wood. I've used that brush for 27 years. 27. Almost every day. And I can't wear it out. So it's a great brush. Okay, I'm gonna get some gray on his back, on his head. And here, there's his calf, his foot. Now, before I move on, I want to make sure I save his little, he has a little foot that comes out here. There's all kinds of fruits around him. There's a little hand. Here's his hair. Shadows are very soft on the body. Wrong one. That's his little scarf, or maybe, yeah, it looks like a scarf. There's his hair. His little leg is chubby. All of this is fruit. Okay. This will be the last thing. Put a little bit of light in here. Push those shapes down. That was a dirty Q-tip. Didn't work very well. Okay, so that's what I could do in an hour. I hope you all have lots of questions, and I look forward to reading through them. I'm going to get the camera now and turn it around. Thank you all for coming today. It was a lot of fun, and I hope to see you all again sometime. Gracias, Maria. Thank you. It was a really nice opportunity. And now I'm not so afraid of doing a live video. I think I messed up as many things as we could to get this thing going. So I'm so glad you stuck with me. Thank you, everyone. Gracias. Merci. Obrigada. Thank you very much. If I read your comments later, I will answer the comments. I'm sorry, it will be in English, but you all have Google Translate, yeah? Thank you, everyone. And you're very welcome. Tarian. So many friends. I miss you. I'm glad we can do this. Gracias, Patricia. Gracias. Tarian Rosemary. Thank you for coming. I hope you all want to paint architecture now. When I do the second fire, I will post on Maria's site, on Porcelana Virtual, and you will see the second fire, okay? You're welcome, Bev. Thanks for showing up. Gracias, Maria. Ciao. Bye, everyone. Thank you again. Gracias. Kisses. Ciao. Bye-bye. Thank you. Gracias. Goodbye for now. Thank you, everyone, especially Maria, Fernanda. You're awesome. Ciao. Bonjour, Nat. Gracias. Merci. Thank you all.